All right, next up, we've got Amine from C2 International. For anybody who doesn't know, it's one of the most innovative business events that's out there. We've had several conversations with some of the folks from C2 over the years, so it's always exciting to check in with you guys and find out what's new and exciting. So tell folks a little bit about who you are and what you do.
I'm Amine Ouadahi. I'm head of partnership for C2 Montreal, and I oversee moving on. So anything related with activation with companies such as Nespresso, Facebook, BMW, how we interact with the participants. What we do differently, I think, is with the facilitization of events, and we always built everything around three pillars, which will be learn, connect, and experience. That's how we engage in every events that we work with and companies that we work with.
I mean, it feels like every time we hear from you guys are trying something new. And one of the big changes this year is an actual change in location. Is that right?
Yeah. But we had we've been events gonna go on for 8 years, and like we were at the Arsenal, which was a beautiful art gallery for 7 years, and at first it was in New City Gas. So last year we had to make a change because some condos were built on the Arsenal field, and we went to Studio Grande, which is a great venue. It's a huge warehouse. They actually filmed some X-Men movie there,
Okay.
and a Marvel movie. So for us it was quite impressive because we had 60 feet scaffolding that could be built up. We had to make some changes because it's a new site. We used to have like our famous balcony, which our company hosts their clients. And Boxer, they were outside next to a plaza. Now we had to put it inside, and we created a Agora spirit. So we had to play around it, but great success. Like we definitely stressed to switch location, but it went well.
So I mean, already you can tell if you haven't heard of C2, which you probably living under a rock somewhere. That you're in a unique space for a business environment, and that translates all the way through. So I know you guys have been trying some new things with the various activations. You mentioned a couple of companies that we may have heard of from time to time. So what were you seeing as far as the new activations?
But for us, what it's tough to be honest is since we reinvent the event every year, and the same concept doesn't come back. It's great for the business, but it could be challenging for us internally. Last year we did something
Completely redoing everything every time.
yeah, every year.
Challenge? What? No.
But definitely but we're lucky to have great partners. Like when we pitch them ideas, they go forward. Like everybody saw the trend of goat yoga in the past year. We're business events, and we had Facebook that we did a great activation with them. With goat yoga, so you could just stop by, like cuddle a goat if you want, and like in the business suit, and the people from like 25 to 60 years old. So it was like pretty cool to see. We did some speed coaching within the BMW car, so like to get out of the traditional car that you have at trade show. We're like, how can we activate within it? So we did some speed coaching, and then with a life coach, 30-minute sessions. So he brings you to the destination. So that's how we.
So a speed coach?
Yeah.
Okay. So are you being taught to go faster or taught to go slower?
He tells you your problem pretty much.
Okay. All right. So I just wanted to expand on that a little bit. I mean, so I'm assuming that was by BMW that was actually doing it.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So they're providing. So rather than just like, hey, check out our new car,
Yeah.
let's put a little bit of a twist on it. Okay. Cool.
So they
cool.
bring you to the next destination.
I don't know that I want to know how good or bad of a driver
Watch
I
out!
am.
Like I saw BMW doing the self-driven car with Lyft here at IMX. It's something that's gonna come up soon.
I'm of two minds when it comes to the self-driving car, but that's another rabbit hole for another time. What are some of the other innovations that you guys are working on this year?
But what's quite interesting is we also put on an event called Moving On, which is the World Mobility Summit, and we do with partner Michelin. So big company that people know, but they give us they give us like a blank canvas to redesign their event, and we've been doing it for 3 years. And mobility for us, I think it's going to be something that's going to take over the world pretty soon.
Michelin, like the tire company.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that's perfect. Yeah, perfect.
They
tie-in.
really
yeah.
they really advance, and like they're pushing forward. They're really forward thinking. If you think it's only tired, and like last year we had a big activation with them that we did with the aquarium inside. All the content is within one of an aquarium, so it's like a big box with windows around it, and all the content is 360. So you could like you guys do live streaming, but we could also showcase it, podcast it right after. All the speaker go through that. So We try to come like you guys who learn from you. We're doing a lot of content.
Well, and the feeling's mutual. We get to steal stuff from you guys as well. I'm pretty sure we're going to have Eventicon's goat cuddling as soon as possible, just so we can get that. What else is new and exciting this year?
But for next year, we're definitely gonna have. We're looking to probably a new site.
So the warehouse was not quite.
It's big production,
Yeah.
so you never know
Yeah.
where we could go out on that. So
I would
and
imagine
we like challenge too.
yeah, I imagine you trying to find someplace a little that permanent home again
Yeah.
that you had maybe with Arsenal, that you can try and get know the space and have familiarity, because it's always interesting to me how often we're moving our conferences. That rather than actually settling into a place and getting comfortable with it and letting the attendings get comfortable with it as well. This desire for the new, but at the same time, we're also fighting in the industry, the experiential, that everything's got to be an experience. How do you guys balance having to try something new and redesign, like you said, redesign the event from the ground up every single year with that, like at the same time, delivering a consistent experience? Does that make sense? That like it's going to be, if I come 2 years in a row, I'm still going to have it. It's going to be great either way.
Yeah, but first off, like as I said in the beginning, we built everything with 3 pillars, which is learn, connect, experience. The learning aspect goes through our stages, but our stages, like we have 2 big stages. Last year we had the cabaret, the beautiful stage, but we set it up like a real cabaret. Think about like in Paris, in France, like the cozy aspect, tables, like stage in the middle. So all the speakers were having a conversation around a round table. We decided to do the Agora for 2,500 people, how to make it like cozy again and like feel like people like get engaged with the participant. We decided to put a piano on it, and so like the panel and the facilitator, the journalist that was interviewing, let's say, Will I Am last year with Strategy AI, was crazy because it was on a piano. So like it's more familiar aspect and people get more comfortable.
Well, that's perfect in the context of a cabaret. The music and so I would imagine, I mean, and this is something we've talked about a lot on this show and over the course of the last couple of days, kind of going back to the why. And so by keeping those 3 pillars, that's kind of your consistency. So as long as whatever it is that you're doing, relates to that and supports that and continues to work out of those 3 pillars, that I would assume gives you that consistent experience.
But it's also something that you mentioned that try to do different. It's like in terms of sustainability, I think it's most of the events are talking about it. When you see what people do with plastic and companies that makes move. Us last year we decided to have no red meat on site. I'm a big meat lover, but like it's something that actually push the message of moving forward. Maybe next year we'll be vegetarian for the 3 days. Yeah,
I mean that's what again, there's another rabbit hole we could go into, but the idea of like the Beyond Meat and the Impossible Burger and things like that. Yeah, I'm not a vegetarian either, but I love the idea of these things, and like if I can have something that's 90% as good and is 90% not as bad for the environment, it sounds like a fantastic way to help pitch in. And that's I'd say that's kind of a bold choice, right? To say we're just not going to do that. Because of the environmental impact of that thing. Any other surprises you want to tease folks with as far as coming up?
But it's for sure we're gonna definitely we used to have balconies and we're thinking about new ways of hosting. So that's something different, and we're definitely looking at designs of new stages. So we'll see what's gonna be forward, and we'd love to have you guys to come to C2 Montreal next year, May 27th to the 29th in Montreal. End of May, beautiful weather.
I was just going to tee you up. I was going to say, so if folks want to find out more and maybe register for the conference, where can they do that?
On c2montreal.com.
c2montreal.com.
Quite easy. It's telling you May is the best month. And Montreal is a great hub. Like we have companies such as Cirque du Soleil, Moment Factory, and a lot of creative company in the city, like a Sidley, the ad agency. So it's fun to go around, not only come to your event, even experience other companies. And the AI is pretty big. So we're known for 2 things at the moment. So.
Nice. Well, I mean, thank you so much for joining me, and I encourage everybody to check it out, and maybe we'll see you in Montreal. We'll be back in just a couple of minutes with our next guest.
Thank you.